Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, June 9th, 2022. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here we are. So far this month, trading mostly sideways in a very narrow range that has developed over the last, 8 or 9 days. We have 8 days here, and then we have that one big trend day up, so that's a 9-day developing range. We mentioned before that a 4-day range can become a 5-day, can become a 6, 7, 8, 9-day range, as this market is clearly waiting for data, waiting for something. We have core CPI data Friday morning. We have Michigan consumer sentiment Friday as well. We also have the next FOMC statement and rate decision next Wednesday. So we could be literally in this range through next Wednesday until we see what the Fed has to say and how they will proceed moving forward. So again, right now it's not the best for trading here, especially from a swing basis, as this thing continues to trade mostly near the center portion of this range. That black dotted line right there is the previous month's close. It's mostly chopping just above and below that line. If you look at the weekly close as well, the previous week's close, it's basically right where we are, and that is about where we're trading as well, just chopping above and below that line. So mostly range bound action. The previous session here we moved higher, back down. Today we may be able to move back down and perhaps back up, but again, it's best to avoid the chop right now and look to fade the edges of the range if possible. We take a look here at the NQ, similar price action as well. Range bound market for the most part, not a whole lot of movement as we are trading at the center of the range. It's more of a converging range right now as well, as we have price trading more toward the apex of this range. That means we could see an edge move here fairly soon, either to the bottom, which can bring us back up, or to the top, that can bring us back down. Until proven otherwise, we're likely going to remain within this range and continue to build energy until we're ready to see a big move. Once we are, we could see a tremendous move that leads to the next major expansion phase. Think something like this here, where we had that narrow range and that type of move happened. That's the type of thing that we're going to be looking for here pretty soon. Something like this, maybe a big push down back to new lows. All right, let's take a look here at crude oil. Crude oil continues to remain bullish overall. The previous session pulled back and eventually found its legs to the upside. Big time move to the upside. A continuation toward the 123s. Yesterday's high coming in at 123.18. We've got a little bit of a pullback day here today. And again, that pullback back toward the midpoint of the previous session provides an opportunity for an early buy the dip opportunity. You get the early pullback, you find a strong low for the morning, and then you look to see if this thing can push higher the rest of the day. So we could be looking at a continuation up today that takes us through the 123s, perhaps into 124s. A failure to get or stay above this previous midpoint here could bring us back down into the range, but overall we've been trading nicely higher, and any pullback, even if it's inside this PIMA trigger zone, could provide a great buy the dip opportunity for a continuation higher. The idea last week was that this week we could be looking at a continuation toward the 125 to 126 zone up above, and again, with a couple of days to go here, we could be still working toward that target zone. All right, let's take a look here at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is mainly flat right now. Down just 0.05% on the day. Again, a very flat trading range here that we've seen, rectangular range after the 25 bottom there, sitting on top of 28K. If the 9-day range in the ES is boring, this one here has turned into like a 20+ day range. And again, at some point here, we could see this thing move big time, but until then, any big day up is to be faded. Any push downward is typically a bounce back up into the range. Ether futures very similar. This one's up just slightly for the moment. 1700 continues to be that big time edge right here. You can see how this one actually had a narrow range here, broke down, and is now trading in a narrow range at this lower edge. Again, 1700 is the gateway that opens up triple digits down below, where we could see the 902 half at some point down the road. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Again, mostly a range-bound session. Look to avoid the chop and look to play the extremes of the range until proven otherwise. That's it for now. We'll see you in the trading room. Take care.